going on, folks, and grüezi miteinander. It's another beautiful day here in Switzerland, and today I'm going to take you behind the scenes to show you how I capture amazing B-rolls with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I'll show you exactly how I made that video you saw at the beginning, how I filmed each shot, and share some useful tips along the way, tips you can start implement right away in your videos. Now, also be sure to watch till the end because I also break down the editing so you can see exactly how I did it. Also, big thanks to ARTLIST for sponsoring this video and supporting this channel. They are an all-in-one platform for video creators providing high-quality digital assets. Plus, it's also my go-to source for all of my music needs. I'll talk more about them later. So let's talk about camera gear. Now, just a quick note, as we get into the shooting process, I'll be using the Insta360 X4 to film the behind the scenes. This way I can focus fully on getting the shot while it captures everything around me. And also let me know if you enjoy that behind the scenes, and I will do more of that in the future. So the camera I'll be using is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And as for the cage, I'll be using the one from SmallRig. And the cool thing about using a cage like this is that I can attach these handles, which gives me the ability to get smoother handheld shots. Now, you don't have to have a rig like this. For me, it just makes the shooting process much easier. I also have a Bluetooth shutter up here. Now, something else I brought with me is the carbon fiber tripod by Sandmark. What I like about this one is that it's super lightweight. It has this twist lock mechanism, which makes it quick to set up the tripod and position the camera. Now, what I also brought with me are third-party lenses from Sandmark. I have quite a few of them, and this gives me the option to just get more creative with my shots. I'm gonna talk more about them later as I use them. Now, in order to carry all of the camera gear, I have this travel backpack by Sandmark. They actually sent this to me, and it's specifically made for smartphone videographers and photographers. Now, this has a volume of 25 liters and can be expanded to 30 liters. Now, you can also bring this along as a carry-on luggage when you travel by plane. What I also really like is that you can fit the tripod here onto the side. And you also have these smart clamps, which makes it really easy to secure the tripod. And what's also really cool, if you open the front part, you can also put in your clothes. It has a lot of space in it. You have dedicated spaces for Sandmark lenses in it. Also, the whole backpack is weather sealed and water resistant, which is really important for me to protect my gear and keep my phone safe. Over here, you have this unique compartment where you can slide in your iPhone to capture a POV shot. Now, for the last couple of weeks, I've used this travel backpack, and so far it has done a really good job in keeping all of my gear safe and being able to access them easily. So the first thing I want to talk about is camera settings. So I'll be using the default camera app. When I shoot my B-rolls, I typically shoot in 4K, which is the highest quality possible, and I set the frame rate to 60 frames per second. This allows me to slow down the clip and also creates a smoother video when shooting handheld. What I also like to do is lower the overall exposure. So go to the exposure meter and then I bring it down all the way to negative 0.7, especially on a sunny day. Another important thing to mention is that you want to lock your focus and exposure before you start shooting. So to do that, I just tap hold on the screen until AEAF lock appears, and this means the auto exposure and auto focus is locked. So if I place my hand over the lens, you'll see no changes happen. Now, in the settings, what you also want is to enable lock white balance. This will avoid color shifts while you record your video. And to do that, head over to settings and then go to camera, and then in record a video you'll see lock white balance. Also, you want to enable enhanced stabilization. This way, when shooting handheld, your videos won't look that shaky. And when you head back, you also want to enable grid as well as level. You'll see that as I sort of rotate the camera, you'll see that the leveler will appear, and when it's yellow, you'll then know that your camera is level. You can also see the rule of thirds, which divides the image into 9 parts, and I'm gonna talk more about how to frame your shot later in this video. So I'm now gonna create the opening shot, which I think this will look really nice. You can see that the sun is peeking from behind, and I'm gonna use the ultra wide angle lens for that. I'm gonna set it to 60 frames per second, tap hold to lock focus and exposure. And then I'm gonna slowly circle around the tree. All right, so let's do that and action. So I found this sign, which I think looks nice to include in our video. What I'm gonna do is create a push-in shot for that. So I'm gonna slowly push in to let the viewers focus their attention on the sign. So this is also an interesting shot. I'm standing behind the fence, which creates some nice foreground. Gonna tap hold to lock focus and exposure. I'm gonna start recording and then create a sort of slide shot. And that was it. Now, a tip I have for you is to develop an eye for composition. And you can start by using the rule of thirds. Now, a lot of beginners like to place the object in the center of the frame. In this case, this would not look that bad. It can get boring. What I like to do is place the object on one of the intersections. In this case, I would place the house more to the upper right and then use this tree as foreground, which creates depth. And to me, this looks like a nice balanced image. The goal is to distribute the elements in your video so that it looks pleasing to the eye. I'm actually going to create a little bit of camera movement. And again, before we start, I'm going to set and lock the focus and exposure on the house and start recording. Now, something else I want to include when setting your composition is to look for leading lines. All right, so this is a nice example. When you have your viewers looking at the video, their eyes will be directed to the center of the frame. And you also have these leading lines which help do so. What I'm going to do is create a crane shot and then slowly move up with the camera. And action. All right, that was nice. What I'm also going to include in my video is an animal, a rubber ducky. So I'm going to set and lock focus and exposure on it, and I'm going to start filming. Nice. We have some nice foreground too. So my next tip is to make use of third-party lenses to get creative shots. And this right here is the microscope lens by Sandmark. Now, the difference between this lens and the macro lens on the iPhone 15 Pro Max is that you can get microscopic shots with it. And it also has a built-in LED light. So let's try it out. I'm gonna screw it onto the main lens. And then I'm gonna turn on the LED light. It has 2 levels, and I'm gonna set it to the brightest level. And now what I can do is get really close. And what I'm going to try and do is do a push-in shot. So it starts out blurry and sort of reveals the detail of the plant. It is quite difficult, but we'll see about the end results. Here we go. So now I'm going to use the telephoto lens by Sandmark, and this is the 6X. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has a built-in 5X zoom, but this is the better quality because we can mount it onto the main lens, and the main lens is the better quality lens of all 3. So I'm going to do that right now, and it's best to use the telephoto lens with a tripod, but I'm going to try and do it handheld since I do have these 2 handles. What I like about the telephoto lens is that you can manually change the focus. You can see that I can change the focus and make the background sharp or have more of the foreground in focus. So that is really nice. set the focus on the tree. I like how the foreground looks. Just to try to keep it as steady as possible. And I'm also gonna shoot through the grass. All right, and action. Try to keep it leveled. Whew. Had to hold my breath there. So I really think you're gonna get better results using a tripod. I was kind of lazy. Yeah, let's see if I can stabilize that in the edit. But overall, I think the telephoto lens is a really nice lens to use and get some of that shallow depth of field back. Now, another cool thing about using the telephoto lens is that you can get really close and film people from behind without them noticing. So let's do that. And I think this looks really nice. So I'm gonna set and lock focus and exposure, start recording. I'm gonna have her on the down left intersection point, and I think this looks really nice. Those mountains over there are looking epic right now. So I'm gonna film that using the telephoto lens again. Screw it onto the main lens. Okay, and now I just have to adjust the focus. Ooh, this looks really nice. I'm gonna do a comparison afterwards with the 5X lens. Film this one right here. It's always good to have some kind of action in front of the lens, especially when you have a static shot. Otherwise, it would just feel like an image. So this is a really nice shot right there. Let's now compare it with the built-in 5X. Switch over to the 5X and start recording. This time I'm gonna film myself. I'm gonna use the tripod. So right now we have a nice composition. We have leading lines. It's gonna set and lock focus over here. I don't plan on slowing it down. I could also change the frame rate actually to 25 frames per second. And yeah, now I'm gonna start recording. Simply just gonna walk into the frame and hopefully this tripod doesn't fall down. Okay. Okay, this time I'm gonna switch over to the ultra wide angle lens, and now I'm gonna film my shoes. I like doing this, a little bit of POV perspective, and go. It's a nice shot. I'm gonna capture a selfie of me, like that. All right, so I'm now back at home. Let me now play the final edit back with the timeline so that you can see what I did. And my main editing software, by the way, is Final Cut Pro. That is where I edit all my videos. All right, so let's now play it back. All right, folks, there you have it. So the first thing I want to talk about is music and sound effects. So as you watch the video, you might know that music plays a crucial role in setting the tone and enhancing the overall viewing experience. Now, if I played this video back without any music, you would notice that the clip feels flat and dull. So music has really the power to evoke emotions, set the mood, and create a more dynamic storytelling experience. That's also where the saying goes, music is half the viewing experience. If you're wondering, the music I use is from ARTLIST, which is the sponsor of today's video. Now, finding the right music can take time, but using a good music licensing platform like ARTLIST, which I've relied on for years, ARTLIST offers a vast library of high quality royalty-free music that you can use in any video without worrying about copyright issues. Plus, with their simple license, you can download as many songs as you like and use them in any of your video projects. I especially like their intuitive user interface and search function. They have an awesome feature that allows you to filter your search by mood, video theme, genre, and instrument, and they also offer curated playlists. I even have my own YouTube music collection saved, which I can access and download anytime. If I need to find songs similar to the ones I like, with a simple click, I can do that. Something else I've added is sound effects. I got these from ARTLIST, and by adding sound effects, you can make your videos come more alive. So let me now play the entire clip back with just the sound effects so that you can hear what it sounds like. Also, by layering these different sound effects, you can create a more complete atmosphere around your video. As someone who creates videos regularly, having a reliable and diverse source of high quality music like ARTLIST has been a game changer in terms of saving time and elevating the overall quality of my videos. So make sure to check out ARTLIST, and by using the link in the video description below, you'll get an extra 2 months for free. Huge thanks to ARTLIST for sponsoring this video. Let's now move on. So let's start with the first clip. Initially, it was a little bit shaky, but in most editing softwares, you can add post stabilization, which will help reduce the shake in the video. And because it was shot in 4K 60 frames per second, I was able to slow it down to 42%. Now, in terms of color grading, let me show you the before and after. So this is the before and after. So all of the clips were shot in HDR. So the first thing I did is I added an HDR tool and selected the HLG to Rec 709, which converts it to an SDR clip. After that, I applied a color wheel, and what I did is I lifted the midtones, lowered the shadows a bit, and added some warmth into the image. Unfortunately, on the default camera app, you can't set the white balance. So what it does is it automatically detects the white balance, and once you press the record, it will lock that white balance to that value. Now, when I shot that video, it was very sunny outside and didn't really look like that at all. So that's why I've added warmth into the highlights and midtones. So the next thing I did is I adjusted the hue. So some colors were a bit too saturated, so I took them out. Over here, I reduced some of the yellow and also reduced some of the blue in the sky. The next thing I did is I've applied a LUT, and these LUTs are from my premium LUT pack, which I will leave a link below if you're interested. And the one I've picked is the Moody Punch, which creates this nice orange and teal look. You can really see how the colors pop. Now, after the LUT, I've applied some corrections and created a mask around this building just to remove some of the blue tones, as you can see. The next thing I've did is I've added a film look, and what I've added is some aberration here on the side and some lens blur, which creates more depth and helps the viewer focus their attention more towards the center of the frame. And the M Film Look is a plugin by Motion VFX. I will also leave a link to their plugins in the video description below. Now, the next plugin I've added is the M Movie Light, which adds a fake light source to the clip. And as I enable it, you can see it makes the image much warmer and adds this subtle light source, which I think looks really nice. Then at the end, I've added a glow just to make this video feel more dreamy. I've also added a title at the beginning, shot on iPhone with an Apple logo to show the viewers that this was shot on the iPhone. Now, as we move on to the other clips, what I try to do is guide the viewer's eye. So right now my eyes are focused towards the center. As we move on to the next clip, again, I'm looking at the center of the frame. In the next shot, my eyes are focused on this window over here. So by guiding the viewer's eye, I make it easy for the viewer to watch the clip and also creates a better viewing experience. Then in the next clip, we have the house on to the right, which matches with the duck, which is also slightly to the right. And then we have this clip over here, nice crane shot moving up. Now this over here is a static shot. You can see we have a bird flying across the frame. Now, if you want to create more dynamic in your static shot videos, you can add a digital zoom to it. You can do this manually with the transform tool, but what I use is a plugin by Dylan Bates, the Final Cut Pro, which allows me to just drag and drop the adjustment layer and it will create the digital zoom for me. On this one, I didn't add one because we have a little bit of a handheld look. Again, some handheld movement. And then over here, I added a slow digital zoom, and I'm actually quite surprised how this turned out. I thought the clip would be too shaky, but by slowing it down and adding post stabilization, I was able to stabilize it very well. Next, we have this flower shot. I didn't go for the pushing shot because I find that it didn't fit well, and I think having like this subtle movement of the flower works better. Next up, we have this nice top-down shot of me, and then a selfie shot, and then an ending shot where I digitally zoom out to indicate that the clip is about to end. Now, once you've finished editing your video, as for the export settings, I choose computer, which exports it into an MP4 format. So this is great for YouTube. And as for the video codec, I choose H.264. The resolution will be in 4K since I shot the video clip in 4K. Now, if it's for Instagram or TikTok, I recommend exporting it in 1920 by 1080. And once you have that, hit next and export it to your desired folder. So that was my simple editing breakdown of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to learn more, be sure to check out my mini course, iPhone Camera 101. In it, I will walk you through all the settings of the default camera app and show you step by step how you can use it to capture quality videos with simple filmmaking techniques. I'll leave a link below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see you the next time.